16, let's go. How's it going, guys? My name is Iskender, and in this video, I'm going to talk about subqueries. So you should know that there's three types of subqueries. There's one that returns a singular value, like an integer or a string, and the second type is one that returns a list, and the third type is one that returns a whole table. So the ones that return a single value or a list, you will probably use them in a where class or haven class, but the type of subquery that returns a table, you will probably use it in the from class. So I will show two examples, one in the from class, one in the where class, and I'll show one more example, which uses a CTE, a common table expression, instead of subquery. For my first example, I'm going to use the example from class, where we were trying to find all the sections for INC 327 and display the meeting days and start time and end time. So these two queries do the same thing. It's just that the first one is using a join, and then it compares course number to 327 directly because it has access to course numbers from the courses table. On the other hand, the second query does not directly access the courses table, but instead it lets the subquery look at the courses table and return the course ID that matches with the course number 327. And then it takes that value and compares it to course ID inside the where clause. And this is how the outside query, let me add space here so it's easier to see. So this part and this part is all, it's the outside query, right? So in order to know which rows it needs to return, it has to know the course ID. Let's take a look at the course sections table. So it provides section IDs and also course IDs. So if you only use this course sections table, sure, you can use the course ID to filter out values, but you don't know which one of these is related to 327. So you can use a helper query or a subquery to find that information for you. So you just select the course ID from courses. So we know that 327 has the course ID of 14. It will select course ID 14 because it matches with course number 327. So this will turn into course ID equals 14. And now that the outside query knows that it's looking for course ID 14, it will return these records from 54 section ID to 61. And in this case, this subquery only returns one single value. So just to give you a quick example of when a subquery returns a list, let's change this statement and make it say, so this subquery will return a small list of course IDs, and that makes this comparison invalid because you cannot compare a single value with a whole list. But what you can do instead is you can say where course ID is contained inside this list. And now you'll be returning all section numbers that are related to all these courses inside this list. If you want to exclude all the courses in this list, you can just say not in this list. So that's how you can use a subquery that returns a list. Now, the second example I want to do is a subquery inside the from class. Subqueries inside the from class are not as common, but you should still know how to do it. For the second example, the question I'm trying to answer is what countries are represented at EMD iSchool specifically, and how many people for each country? And then the second part of the question is find the country with the most people. So it's probably going to be United States, but still, this query counts number of people per country represented at EMD iSchool. Now, we want to find the maximum number of people for a single country. We couldn't really do it here, like max count. Yeah, you can't really write max in front of count country. You can see that it returns an error message. You can't do double aggregation at the same time. So for this type of query, you must use a subquery, okay? But here's the good news. This query, you can use it inside of another query, and it's going to be pretty easy actually. Maximum, uh, I'll come back to that, from, and then I'm going to use this query and put in parentheses. And let's add some indentation. So this will return a table, like, let me show you. This returns a table with the countries and people count. So that means you can reference this table if you put it in the from clause. But you must name every subquery table as, you must give it an alias. So let's name it people count table. So since inside this table we have a column called people count, we can reference it in an outside query. So let's put it inside the max function. And let's finish the query. I don't think we need to add anything else. So actually let's end it here. And this should work. So this tells you the max number of people for a single country is 110, which is probably United States. We can change this into a common table expression. I mean, right now this query by itself looks okay, but imagine you had to write a query that contains multiple subqueries, like a couple subqueries in the from clause, another subquery in the where clause. That query is going to look messy. My preference is to always use CTs whenever possible. So in this case, I would just create a CT people count table as, and then put this query inside. So we just defined a common table expression called people count table as this following query, which we already know returns a table with countries and people count. And then I'm going to write our main query, select max people count from this table we just created, people count table, and that's it. This will work the same way as this one. Oh, I think I'm missing a semicolon. I don't know why there's an error here. Oh, what? Oh, apparently I pasted this code twice and it got hidden. All right, now this should work. There we go. So if I run this, so there you go. I hope this video helps you with your final project submission, and I'll see you in another video. Peace.